But as you know, part of YouTube is coming on and talking to you guys after, something makes sense and something that I worked really hard on the Quentin case. And he really touched my heart. He was first one I've ever done a group prayer for. He's the one I felt very confident that that's where he was at. I felt like, and when I heard the news today, I started crying. I just, it's one of those cases that really just got to me and got to my heart. And, it's, I unfortunately didn't want to be right in this situation. I didn't, I would have loved for him to be found alive somewhere, but I knew that wasn't true. However, he's fine on the other side. And, he showed me he was, she was going to go to jail. If you go back to my original readings, I said that he could see the searcher's boots at one point, that, he was in the landfill. And the part about the marsh and everything, I think that was more the duck hunters. Plus, it's really marshy around there, but that was an interconnect, which I had showed you guys. But actually, this came in 3 years ago, in the Stephanie Parze reading. And I had gotten in Stephanie Parze the word Quinton in the landfill. And at the time, it didn't make sense. And that was before, he was born. So it shows a lot about soul contracts and things like that, although they're hard to understand from a human perspective, right? So, I mean, they do have to send off for testing and everything, but they do think that it is him. And the crazy thing is that, and Shazam reminded me of this, that I kept getting a significant case with, like, significant date with Kylie being found. Okay, that something was going to happen on the significant date of Kylie being found. And so she was found on the 21st. Because Spirit will reference other cases, but it was something found her being found on the 21st. And then today, the stuff was released on the 21st. So I find that really interesting. It was the 18th, so it wasn't the 17th, but I think close enough. But the 21st, I kept talking about, that when Kylie was found, I thought it was last month. So when last month came and went, I was kind of, well, shit, I was wrong, but, and I was hopeful. Yeah. And so, I don't know, but this was one thing, and maybe our prayers helped. I feel like prayers always help; they can never hurt, and justice, is gonna come. Um, Thank you too much, Mom, for becoming a member. So, oh, I got a messenger coming. So it's one of those things where I don't really like to be right on it, but it was one of those things I was adamant about, and I think it's one of the only cases where I didn't really question. Um, Sometimes I question, right? I'm human, and I'm constantly trying to put clues together and things together and try to understand what Spirit's trying to say. And this was one where Quentin was very strong, and he took me straight to the landfill. He took me, to the church right next to the landfill, and I was like, oh wow, that's a landfill. Thank you, Lizzie, very much for that. And that's where I got sick. And then so no matter what I did, where I went on the map, I always came back there. I think I got a little confused with the interconnect and the duck hunting and the duck hunter in the second reading, but then I came back to, well, he's showing me he's in a landfill. He's showing me he's, that he sees the yellow boots and things like that. So yes, my interconnects can be a little confusing, but when I found out the duck hunter found those other remains, I knew that's where it belonged. And I went back to the original reading, which is where he originally took me. He also originally took me to the trash can, if you guys remember that area. So I was being led to two different places. I was being led to the landfill, or I was being led to the place where she allegedly took him, and then to the landfill and that trash truck. And, well, they found remains. We'll just say that. It's not going to be a whole body, unfortunately. It was Friday. So They just did a news conference, and that's one reason why I wanted to come on. So they're sending off for testing and everything, but they're pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there's too much validating it for it not to be. Um, so and this was my prediction. I felt like they were gonna find him in the landfill, and again, this prediction was three years ago, and that's what blows me away. So whenever I saw the Stephanie Parze interconnect and the Quinton in the landfill, it was like that was it for me. That was my validation that that's where he was, and I didn't stray anymore. So it was one of those things where it was like, yep, he's gonna be found there, and that's where he's gonna be found. And I need you guys to know though that he's okay. He didn't feel any pain. It's not like he was laying his remains were in the landfill and they were needed for the justice for him, but his spirit was not there. His spirit's been running around and playing since then. So you guys, it's hard to remember that, but that's something like we have to try to remember. Um yeah. Um So I mean, it's gonna take like a little bit to make sure, but I'm pretty it's him. I feel like it's strongly him. It has to be. I've been thinking about him a lot lately, and this is probably why. Um, and I was a little worried because they were gonna end they were gonna end the search on the 9th, and so I was a little like, oh well, shoot, maybe I misperceived it. But it's one of those things you just gotta trust. You just gotta trust. Um, yeah, that video was definitely him, and he doesn't stay there. I think it was just he wanted to make his presence known and make people believers. That's what that was all about. So you know, yeah, and everyone is innocent till proven guilty, but I feel if you guys remember, I stated she was going to go to jail. I saw her in handcuffs. I saw Quentin in the landfill. Like all of this is coming to light, and so I do think that they have a good case against her, and I don't think she's gonna be getting out, um, or getting out of the situation, I should say. Uh, yeah. It was he's here right now, and I was like, I have to go do a live, like a 10-minute live. Just let me go do this 10-minute live. I have to. I'm a YouTuber, that's all I gotta do. He's like, that's fine, but he's always been a skeptic, but he's starting to believe because I was talking to him about the Delphi thing, and I was talking to him about some other things, and I was like, "Are you still skeptic?" He's like, "No." So I had to. He used to not be skeptical, but as he's gotten older, he got kind of skeptical, but he's not anymore. He's not skeptical anymore. And what's weird is like this is 3 times I've come to my mom's house, and people have been found. Maybe I need to come here more often. um, I just think it's crazy that we were talking about Kylie being found on the 21st, and then they released this today. So no, no, if you watch the readings, I always felt he was in the landfill. I mean, the second reading, like the marsh and stuff came up, but I get perimeter. But then the duck hunters, that was a totally different case. That was actually, and I posted that. It actually happened a few days later after that read. Um, so I know, and that's the thing is Spirit is very consistent with me. Spirit's very consistent. So when you have people come on and they're like, oh, they're talking all this crap and trying to disprove me and saying the word debunk. It's like, okay, how can you debunk any of this? Like you can't. You just can't debunk any of it. Um, so and I knew he was gonna be. I felt in my heart of hearts he was gonna be found, but then it was like when the day was approaching and he hadn't been found yet, I was a little like, oh well, shit, they better find him soon. Um, so yeah, I just wanted I thought I would cry because I started to cry when I found out. I actually ran through the house and like yelled, and my mom's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Well, they found Quentin." Um, so I was like happy that they found him because I knew that they needed that for her to be arrested. Once they found him, they were going to arrest her, and that's what we were waiting on. And that's why I got so irritated with these people that like were doing like the cops knew what they were doing in this case. They don't always, but in this case they did. And they needed that piece of evidence before they could arrest her because they wanted it to stick. So it was really ridiculous when people were running around doing all their protesting and stuff. They just needed to give it time. Sometimes we have to be patient. Sometimes we have to get patient. Things will play out as they're meant to play out. Just like, Spirit already said the 21st, basically. They said same day Kylie was found, that's the 21st. Not, they didn't tell me the month, but, um, oh, I don't care anymore. I just block them. I just think it's crazy how anybody could doubt anymore. You know, and Quentin was I have to say, he's one of the strongest spirits I've ever connected to. And I have to say, like, his reading was one of the most accurate ones I've ever done. And I think that was the first one with Tammy. And I think it's just a different feeling. I don't know. Maybe he thought of us both as mother figures. And I think because I got this 3 years ago that he knew he was supposed to come to me. So, right. We'll let the justice system do their job. Actually, I feel like death is a release, and I think she should have to live with it. Um, they did not. Yeah, they did not want another Casey Anthony. Exactly. So they wanted to make sure that they had everything that they needed. You know what I mean? They were building a solid case. He is so cute. He is so cute. Um, and So yeah, my son's girlfriend, she's so cute. She's all into it, but like she's not skeptical at all. My son was, but he's not anymore, which is a good thing because he thought his mom was crazy trying to do readings and to make it doing this on YouTube and stuff. Um, but I do it for the victims. That's my whole purpose. My whole purpose is for days like this. This is why I do what I do. Um, for days that you know it's validate and most of all it's a validation of spirit. It's a validation that there is life after death. It is a validation that things happen the way that they're meant to happen and the timing that they're meant to happen. So for instance, the the Idaho 4, like, I'm not going to get any more information than I'm supposed to get in the timing I'm supposed to get it. And if I am, they'll give it to me. That's just the way that it goes. um as far as you know, uh, people thinking that we have to, um, that we know everything. We don't. We don't know everything. We only know what we're given, and we're only given what Spirit wants to give us for whatever reason, due to timing or whatever. So people have to keep that in mind as well. But it's. I appreciate all the people that have been with me since the beginning. I've been on YouTube, 5 years. The people that followed me here from my old channel, the new people that have come to recognize, I the reasons that I do this is the right reasons. I do this for, I do this to give the victims a voice. I do this for the validation of the other side, and that is the reason why I do this. Um, of course, I have to live and eat and be a normal person, but um, that's the whole reason that I do this. This is my passion. This is what I feel like my calling is, and the more that there's been times where I felt like quitting. There's been times where I've been very frustrated at this work. There's been times where you have the people that come at you, and you get very protective over what you do, and it it there's times where you're thinking, am I doing the right thing? Am I supposed to be doing this? Because why is nothing shifting? Why is this not happening? And then all of a sudden I told God, I said, look, I said, I'm leaving it in your hands. Whatever you want me to do with this, I will do with it. Just show me the way. And he did. It was after I said that and I let go of everything that Kylie was found. And that was the beginning of this whole thing. It went Kylie, Jolissa. I mean, I was right. I was correct on Stephanie Parze so long ago, but only so many people noticed that. A lot of people didn't. Um, and so I think people are starting to notice now because there's a lot of accuracy in the stuff. And I'm not always going to be right. I am human. I'm not going to always perceive the information right. I'm not going to always understand it right. I wish I could point to a guy and be like, that's the guy. But unfortunately, when it comes to readings and feeling energies and seeing them, it's not like a clear picture like you're looking at them on TV. And sometimes you can look at someone and be like, okay, they have that likeness, but I don't know. Like it's so hard sometimes, right? Um, but like when it came to RA, when I saw him, I knew. So I hope that my gifts continue to grow, and I hope that I'll be able to help people more. Um, I do past life readings. Yeah, I do. I do. Um, I mean, I can only give you the past lives that they feel are relevant in this life and the ones that they give me. So it's just like any reading, like I can only give you what they give me. But, you know, um, I've been trying I've been doing this for 10 years, and I think it was almost like Spirit said, okay, we see your due diligence. We see how focused you are. We see how much you want to help the victims, everything. Um, and so we're going to help you right along with upping your gifts a little bit. And so I think that's what happened. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like I went straight to the dumpster, like weird. It was so weird because with Quentin's case, so I had to call Angela. I had to call Going Somewhere, and I had to call Shazam because I was like, dude, I'm going crazy here. I'm like, I keep going to two locations. Why do I keep going to two locations? I keep going over here by like where the dumpster was, like around about that area. I think it was like the party place behind it. I kept going around that area. We can get within miles, okay? And then I kept going to the landfill or like by the landfill. And I'm like, why am I going to two places? What am I missing? Blah blah blah. Um, and so they had to call me and mellow me out because I was driving myself crazy. And that's what I do. I will literally get a little obsessed and drive myself crazy on trying to find these people or trying to find a murderer. And it's like, I can't do that because it's going to happen in the time it's meant to happen. It just is. I put out the information and I just got to trust the information. It's hard to do that because I'm human, right? So there's times where I don't always trust it. Um, and there's times where I'll second guess a lot because I'm human and that's what humans do, you know? My mom, she's gifted. My son is gifted. My son blocks it. My mom blocks it. I think it runs down our female line, but I think that um, you know, I've always kind of had it, but I think it originated after my husband passed away. That's when I really got into like my awakening. Like we all kind of have an awakening. That was my awakening. But because I was always into the detective shows when I was when I was younger, I always wanted to do like detective work. But it's just a different way. Um, and hopefully one day, the police will listen. Hopefully, and hopefully I won't let anybody down when I do that, because that's another thing I think about is like I'm always like I'd love to help the police like do cases, but it's not like I can point to a map all the time and be like they're right there, and it's not like I can tell them every detail. um so, and then sometimes I need somebody to like give me feedback, so that's the only thing like I stress out and worry about if I were to ever to get to that level. But as of right now, it's like I said, it's a validation of the other side. It's a validation that people can do this. um and I'm not scared of it in any way, even though like I'll get like when I work dark cases, sometimes some things happen, but the light is always stronger than the dark, and that's what I always tell myself in the end. And I just pray, and I'm always okay. Um, and that's the darker cases. They're gonna carry that energy. That's just the heaviness of that case. Um, So I mean, with Quentin, I'm so thankful. I'm so glad, and I think maybe our prayers helped it. Who's to say if they did or they didn't? I always think that prayers are very powerful, and he was one I felt like we needed to pray for because I felt like he was going to be found, but it was one of those things where it was like, man, come on, like we're gonna end this, and we're not gonna. I was worried that they were going to run out of time and money. It was what I was worried about because I knew he was there. Um, Yes, Thanksgiving, I look at things, I try to look at Thanksgiving a different way because I don't agree why the way we have it, but, um, yeah, I'm glad that, I'm glad that they found him. My opinion, um, and it's alleged that I don't feel like it was an accident, not from what I saw, not from the cases that were referenced. He didn't really show me what happened, he more like referenced cases. Um, and sometimes they do that. They'll reference cases and say that they're similar to this. And none of those cases were really an accident. So, And I think they each hold a bit of what happened, down to being, put in a trash bag through Megan Boswell. She reminds me a lot of Megan Boswell. Like, they could be like, I don't know. I keep referencing her because they remind me of the same people. Um, so I want to thank you guys for believing in me. Like I said, I'm not always going to be right. I might be confusing sometimes with the interconnects, like, with the second reading and getting the perimeter and then the duck hunters and stuff. Like, we found out that was another case, and I tried to post that to tell you guys. But like I said, I'm not going to always be accurate. I'm not going to always, like, be dead on, but I feel like I get things for a reason. I'm on point a lot of the time, and I feel like that my information can help in one way or another. And for those of you guys that don't know, I actually did send an email to the police chief and told them that they were in the right location and tried to explain them what they were finding. And there was someone else I was speaking to at the same time, and I was telling them, look, this is what I see, and um, I'm seeing the yellow rain like boots, so that means that he's seen you guys, or you guys will be close to him, or that you're gonna find him. Like, um, yeah. So I, you know, I don't know. I never strayed from that because of the 3 years ago. Getting that with Stephanie Parze 3 years ago. And the weird thing was is how I started looking into that case, because I forgot all about that. I remember when I got it back then, I was driven crazy because I kept hearing bottles and bottles and bottles, and I was like, what the heck? But it was to tell me about trash, right? And so when I went back to Stephanie Parze, because we were gonna do we wanted to do like a validation video, and so I was looking through Stephanie Parze, and I was like, holy crap, I said Quentin in a landfill? What? That was like, I was like, that was he wasn't even born yet. So that flipped my lid a little bit. I was just as amazed as you guys on that because I forgot. I don't remember. Um, so, but yeah, no, I contacted, I sent my information to them, and that's why I made the video. I wanted them to know they were appreciated. I wanted to know they were in the right spot. And, I was telling someone because I had a dream that he was like on the end, like they had lines of trash, and I had a dream that he was like I had found him and he was on the end, and so I made sure that they knew that. Like there's things that everything that I got I sent, um, in hopes that it would help. It's really hard in landfill because they're just literally going through trash. There's not really anything like other than I was able to describe the landfill without ever being there. There was things that I was able to remote view and describe that I was told that was exactly there. And the flag, they were hanging the flag, and maybe that was what my flag was. But there was, I can sometimes remote view, and I will put put myself there, and I was able to describe it. And so I was sending that information there, and I don't know if it helped or not, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, again, it's just his remains, but a big part of his remains was about this justice, was about this karma coming into play, and it was gonna play out the way it was gonna play out, and it did, because I was shown 3 years ago it was gonna play out, which it still blows my mind. I still can't believe that. Um, so I mean, I felt like he was gonna be fine. I was waiting for the press conference because I was like, are they gonna say that they found him? Because why else would they arrest her? You know. And I didn't even realize what day it was. And then Tammy and Shazam's like, oh, you realize it's 21st, right? And you were talking about the 21st with Kylie, and I was like, no freaking way. And not that they found him, but they still announced it. I mean, we all found out. So the 17th was the day before the 18th. So I mean, I was a day off on that, but so I just wanted to get on here and just I'm so thankful that Quentin was found and he's okay. I need you guys to know that he's okay. Um, he's running around, playing with animals and stuff on the other side. Um, and saying thank you. So, he can go enjoy the other side now. Um, It's paradise. So although it's sad as humans, it is, for spirit, it's just going home. It's just going home. Um, and he, he knew. He, like I said, I got this 3 years ago before I was born, so he knew what his soul contract was. He knew this was going to happen. This was something that was foretold and could not be changed. Um, just kind of like, the airplanes crashing could not be changed. Um, so, yes, sometimes free will can change things, but, it seems like a lot of the stuff that I get, you know, ends up kind of being written in stone. Um, so, yeah, I will get back on Summer when I feel pulled to it. I don't think it's the time yet for it. And I feel like her energy, people bug her too much. And it's hard to get a good read on her because they bug her too much. And I want to grow a little bit because hers is a little more complicated. Um, and I always question myself with it. So I need to give myself time and I'll get back on Summer. But I'll probably only do one more. So, readings always contain a little bit of, they always contain important information, whether you think it's important or not. Every little piece contains important information, and some might be another case because of my interconnects, but mosquitoes are out. It's freaking cold. Um, so I have a video on soul contracts. You can find it on my YouTube. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for your support. I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know that Quentin was found and kind of validate it and let you guys know that he's okay and all of that. It's getting cold out here. I gotta go grocery shopping for the kiddos because I have no food. And yeah, I yep, it's a good day. It's a good day. I've never done that before where I run through the house screaming. Mom was like, "What the heck is going on with you?" It's like they found Quentin. Um, so yeah, I'm going on an hour of sleep, Lizzie. You know that. I have to go get something to fix my sink because it broke yesterday. So, yep. He's one of those cases that will always hold a special place in my heart. I think I just have some that I don't know if I have a soul contract with them, or I don't know if, um, I don't know if I have a soul contract with them or if it's just meant for me to help with the ones that I help with that get found. I feel like it's for it's definitely for a reason, and I take the cases I do for a reason, and I try to go where I pulled. I try to go where I'm pulled because I feel like it's for a reason. So, um, I've never heard that one. Like I won't ever be able to work all the cases, you guys. I as much as I wish I could work every single case, I won't. I won't be able to as I'm just a human and I won't be able to. I just try to go where I'm led. And a lot of time I haven't even gotten to my submission cases yet just because like I keep getting pulled to other cases that are happening, and it's not that I don't like to work cold cases. I love to work cold cases. It's just I'm trying to follow because of the interconnects. So the interconnects will lead me in a certain way, and that's a lot of the time why I just kind of end up with the cases I end up with. I try to go where I'm pulled to. So, um, yeah, very, very connected with him. I don't know, he kind of reminds me of Eli when he was little, I think, in that dragon. I heard that he actually liked those dragons. So that's another thing. I'd love to have it out in my house if my dogs would leave it alone. But yeah, he's the first spirit that ever made me buy something for him, and I could not like get rid of that dragon out of my head, and I was like, all right, Quentin, fine. So, of course, you guys know that I put 100% into every reading that I do, into every case that I do. Like, even with this, the Idaho 4, you guys, I've worked on this day and night, like, trying to match stuff up, trying to understand what I see, all of that. So, it's hard to say about Billy Joel. I told you guys that I even told Leilani she was going to jail. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but I straight up told her that Quentin told me what she did and she was going to jail. So I don't know if she ever saw it, but it sure felt good to say it. Yep, and when I'm not live, I'm working behind. I'm constantly working. Like I don't even take like, I don't know. I don't really take days off either, even from private readings, because I try not to make people wait too long, and I try not to overdo it. So, yeah, I straight up told her ass was going to jail, and that's exactly where she should be. So, I bet that's the sole contract she chose. So it is still light outside. Yes. We don't change time here. It's currently 5:06. So I look a mess. I'm sorry. I went swimming, so my hair's all wet and whatever. You guys never see the makeup on anyways. I know I should. I know. I know. I'm actually booked out till January right now, and I hate people waiting that long, but that's me doing at least one reading a day so I don't overdo it and then taking breaks in between. So, um, yeah. I know it's not dark here yet. Ah, well, I just want to thank you guys for your support and your appreciation and for always believing in me. It means a lot that I have such great supporters and that you guys really believe in me. You believe in my gift, probably more than I do. Specifically Shazam, she's always, telling me, well, if you say it, I know it's going to happen eventually. So I just trust in it, and she's always pushing me and telling me that, because sometimes I'll bug her and be like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know if this is right, and she'll be like, it's right, trust me, you got it. So, you guys have to thank her for for being on me, kicking my butt when I need it, sitting me in the right direction and keeping me on track. Because my human side plays in a lot. Like I said, I'm human, I'm not going to be perfect. So, um, you should have been a believer before, Anna. I know, and I got so irritated, these other people saying that he was other places and he's not in the landfill. I'm like, yes, he is. You guys do not understand, like, how hard it is to find someone in a landfill. You know what I mean? Um, so, hey, I'll always help as long as I can. I'll always do what I can. I'll do the best that I can. That's all I can do, right? Um, so yep, she keeps me going. She keeps me, if I start second guessing, she'll be like, no, you said it. It's right. I'm like, okay, you get it. So she, I think that's why we work so well together, is because she boosts my confidence a lot. Yeah, because a lot of people were saying no, no, like EVPs and stuff. I'm like, yes, yes, he is. That's where he's at. Because once I saw once I saw what I got 3 years ago, that was it for me. You know, um, so that was it for me when I saw that. I was like, that's my validation. It's there. That's where he's at. That's it. No, he's nowhere else. So I saw I got that 3 years ago. That was what I needed to see, and I think Spirit gave me that 3 years ago, because they knew I was going to run across it. They knew I was going to see it, and they knew I'd probably doubt, and they knew I needed to see it to be like, yes, that's where he's at. So, yeah, he has a thing about. I heard he had a thing about those dragons. So, yep. Well, thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate you. I just need you to know that I am freezing. I'm going to go in and I'm going to take my kids grocery shopping and get home to my poor babies. I've been gone since this morning. So, oh, I'm a Libra. My moon is a Libra, so that's the second guessing. And then I have Aquarius, rising and sun, and so I'm always in my head. So those aren't really good things. So yeah, it can definitely. That's my. But the Libra is also about justice too. So that's why I think I pull towards this. So, all right, guys. Thank you. Let me see.